Good evening, it is Matt Rogers. It is now the 16th of December 2024. With this piece of evidence on this video, I'd like to point towards the stereo telescope. This telescope is run by the establishment, pointing towards the sun, and it's on 24/7. So the screen will glitch because it's showing pictures every 1 minute. Now, the thing is, I picked up some video evidence as well, and it's gone down, it's disappeared. And like I state as well, that I record everything through the day and then I go back to the footage, and if I pick up something very interesting, I will produce it onto video to show you. And with this camera pointing directly towards our solar system, something huge showed up. Now, it could be absolutely anything, but indeed it looks like a large planet. Now, many people are explaining they're seeing some very strange astronomical colours through the skies. Yesterday evening in the UK, there was this purple colour that is refracting light through the cloud systems on an evening sunset. Now, that colour looked very, very strange, and there was many photographs being sent in showing that strange phenomena. Now, I'm going to show you the viewpoint, because you will see the known heavenly bodies that are in our solar system. You will see Venus, Mercury, other objects, and you'll start to see this huge object that shows up as well as a darker object that's in our solar system. Now, what I've done is I've gone to the area that I noticed this, so I speeded the recording up, and also it sort of sends me a blip signal to let me know that some other activity is showing up on this stereo cam. It does this as well when I record the heavens, the universe, solar system, and other events on webcams. If something shows up, it will leave a marker for me. So I came back to the marker this afternoon and picked up something very unusual. Indeed, what we're seeing here is known heavenly bodies that are showing up on the stereo cam. To this side, we see the sun refraction. You'll see the solar flare activity. This is what this camera does. It picks up solar flare activity. But whilst I play the video footage, there is a large celestial body, or some kind of phenomena of a huge object that moves towards this way, towards the backside of the sun. Now, many years ago, this object has been spotted many times, which looked indeed much smaller towards the backside of the sun. But this object, or the same object, looks absolutely massive, much larger in size now. Let me just play the evidence for you on the footage that was recorded to show you this. You'll notice the smaller objects in our solar system, the refraction of light, the solar flare activity from our soul, the sun, but there is some kind of phenomena. Look at this huge dark astronomical shadow of something heads towards the backside of the sun. You'll see it as this huge flare hides it in front of view sight. Now, folks, what was that? Let me just pause it to that area view sight. Now, first of all, I want to show you something else as well. There is a dark area around this formation. I mean, look at the area where we see the solar flare activity. But there's something dark that appears in the center of the screen. We see a smaller object, could be Mercury, in our solar system. But that is very strange as well, of a huge dark spot area. Just going to play it for you again. Let me just play this and then pause it to the area. You can now start to see that huge object. Let me just pause it there. You can start to see the celestial mechanics of this object. This is massive, folks. It looks 10 times as big as Jupiter, or bigger than Jupiter, this object. I mean, what is it? You see the solar flare activity, but there is some giant object, the Frightener, something huge, the Destroyer. Let me just start by playing it again so we can see it lit up by the solar flare activity. At this timestamp, around about 3 p.m, the United Kingdom time, noticing as well with this stereo cam, look at this area view sight. You can see the curvature to this celestial body, a giant formation, a giant celestial body Just show you again. We'll just pause it. Trying to get a better picture of this incredible capture there. That is amazing. Something is showing up. Notice how it's not dark in this particular area of the view site of the solar flare activity, which is spreading out across our solar system, hitting against this planet. Now, I'm just going to move it as well. Notice how dark it gets through this beam of astronomical shadows where we see the solar flare activity. It's actually hitting and beaming across this huge object, or just behind the sun. I'm going to just move it one more time. Just please keep an eye on how dark this area becomes of a huge astronomical shadow as this object starts to hide towards the backside of the sun. You notice still the curvature of the object, but look how dark it becomes as well, proving without a shadow of a doubt there is an object, a huge celestial body that we can see. Are we noticing the destroyer, the second sun, Nemesis? It's getting even darker now to this area. We can see the known celestial bodies that are lightening up as well, and they do, as I explained before, they do become much lighter than the evidence that we saw in the 1980s, which were much darker. And you can see now just that curvature just down here. Let me just carry on to show you this. It's very dark to this motion as well. The light refraction should be all over this particular area, to showing you how light it is with the solar flare activity. But how comes just down below as well, it's actually hugely dark, casting an astronomical shadow from what? Nibiru, Planet X. Let me just show you this again, one more time. I'm trying to catch it so you can see it very clearly. There is the formation of this. It's all speeded up, folks, so we can catch it a lot more clearer than if it was just left running very, very slow for 3 to 4 to 5 hours. I'm just going to try and catch it so we can get a real clear shot of this. Notice that object. Folks, again, it could be absolutely anything. I'm not here to state that that is Nibiru or the destroyer Nemesis. But wow, that is one huge formation. See, the thing is, when you look at it as well, notice it, the astronomical dark shadows start to appear to the left side of the formation. Just something to think about there, isn't it? See, at first, whilst monitoring this particular piece of footage, I've looked at it time and time again before placing it onto video and uploading it to you guys to see what you think, because anything that looks very peculiar or something very unfamiliar needs to be put onto video for you guys to see it. And it could be one or two things. We could be seeing a huge lens flare from the sun refraction that is reflecting onto the camera from the information from stereo that comes down to Earth pointing to the sun. But when showing the footage of this object, let me just pause it there. This object, you can see the size of the formation. And indeed, when we look at the other part of the video, proving it might not be a lens flare, easily you can see that this is a lens flare. This part of the area view sites where we see a celestial known heavenly body in our solar system, that is a lens flare to this area, because of the light refraction from the particular viewpoint of where we saw the heavenly body. But going back to the original piece of evidence, hours later, this part, there is nothing to show that it's a lens flare. There's nothing light refracting from the area view site to state that it's a lens flare. So folks, what is this? What are we seeing in the background? I mean, on another video, what I'm going to do, I'm going to enhance it so we can catch a clearer look of what we're talking about on the video. Okay, what I've done was as well, I made sure by enhancing it and using the other part of the technology, using this web page of the stereo telescope, as we can see, just by half cutting the image that we saw of a huge object, indeed there is something there. There is a hard proof that we can see something celestial to this side that we saw of that video. But then enhancing it, it does look like a rocky surface or something. I mean, it could be anything, folks. But look at it in detail as well. It's very important where we see the date and the time. But there is something showing. There was something showing up. But indeed, it could be anything. So we're just going to keep going, keep showing. And even if we catch something so different at one video, it is very important to us. Here is a direct ahead camera view of the stereo, noticing as well that in the background we can start to see a curvature of something else. Did we see and notice when showing up an object that this celestial body is now showing up just below where we see the sunlight, just a refraction of a dark shadow cast, and you can see the imagery here as well. Never been seen before. We never noticed this before. So something large showing up, just moving as the Earth is rotating, where we can see the solar system with those other objects on, slowing down the footage. There's a larger body or some kind of object casting a shadow. Even with this picture as well, just moments after the first picture, we can see the refraction of the solar flare activity to this upper area. But you notice that sun refraction. You can see the curvature of the sun from where we see the refraction of light. But down below as well, it doesn't join up to where we see the sun refraction. So indeed something else, or it could be something else, towards the backside of the sun. More important information of this webcam as well, with the phenomena of seeing darkness. Now, in particular, towards the timestamp to this area, 12:14, the caption shows up something else. I mean, you can see and notice the normal captures at the timestamps to the right hand side, the captions 6:36, so on. And again, it takes hours to pick it up. But where we notice, just going through all the different times of the pickups, how on earth, just going back up this way, how on earth at one viewpoint where we saw that capture of that dark anomaly formation of a mysterious planet, an object, we're picking up this huge dark astronomical shadow. What happened, folks? Why do we see this particular picture? Now, years ago we never was able to pick up something dark like this. It was always, just like I showed on the other pieces of photography, where we see the green refraction color picked up on the telescope. But this object, this photograph, particular photograph at 12:14, is very, very interesting. Just like where we saw the timestamp of those, or that huge body that was picked up heading towards the backside of the sun. And folks, it is massive. It's not like a small planet like Earth or other known heavenly bodies in our solar system. This object was huge. The thing is, it's always good to research and look at different things like I described on different videos. Anything that looks just slightly different or whatever, it's so important because, again, being a researcher and looking into it, you have a passion to acknowledge something that looks out of place, because we know these webcams. We've been working with these webcams for a long time, and again, it's something very unusual that I've ever seen before, seeing this light refraction to this side, but there is a huge dark shadow behind the backside of the sun. Look at the light refraction from the sun, but this dark shadow is very worrying, folks. I mean, 24th, where we see, and the year, the month, December, and it's written down there the 13th. But indeed, this object is showing at random times, like the 16th of the 12th, 2024 today, and noticing as well on the 13th of the 12th, 2024, yet again this dark shadow persists. It's being picked up. What could this be? Because it hasn't been there before. Okay folks, and indeed thank you for watching this very short video. I'm going to do some more research. I'm going to look at other things as well on other webcams, because I've picked up some very, very important evidence of other things in space, other objects and formations. And like I spoke about on different broadcasts of fireballs, there is an upbeat of fireballs above the Earth's atmosphere, and also space rocks, space debris. And there's definitely something going on. Black holes, portals in space. What is going on? Because we are living in some very, very interesting times. We're seeing many things across the skies now. Cover-ups, other formations. So please, again, when you've got the time, after watching the broadcasts, press that notification button and please subscribe to this channel. There's other channels out there that work very hard. And I'm here to stay, folks. I really am. And I've got a passion to do this. We all know this. And I will come back to you shortly. Take care. From Matt Rogers.